So our next step will be adding some black and silhouettes. You have two options. You can use your black watercolor pencil or a black Sharpie. So I'm going to demonstrate with the black watercolor pencil, and then we'll activate it very similarly to the way we have been doing the other watercolors. But for the difference with the Sharpie is you just won't activate it, so it won't look really like paint, it'll look like a marker. So it depends on the look that you want. So we're gonna first just kind of outline that horizon line with your black. And then I'm just gonna kind of make like a hill over here. You can do yours wherever you'd like. And I'm gonna kind of color that in with that black. And then this is our horizon line, like I said, so we're gonna draw something smaller up here. So I'm gonna be drawing just some tree trunks up here, and they're nice and small. So I'm just doing some vertical lines that are kind of close together. So from a distance, it'll look like trees filling up that space. And then I'm just gonna kind of give it like some shapes on top here that I'm going to color in. So from far away, this will just look like trees that are in the distance, and it's a silhouette. We are doing silhouettes, which is kind of like the outline of something. You can't really see the details necessarily, but it just gives a black shape because of the way the lighting is. So this would all get activated later, but I'm just showing you how you can go ahead and draw those shapes and color it in. So, you know, I might put a few more in here so that they don't look so evenly spaced, you know, because some of them might be closer or farther apart together, that kind of thing. So that's kind of my trees in the background. And then what I'm gonna do is draw some lines kind of this way, just a few. So it's like the shadows of the trees going that direction. And then I'm gonna come down and kind of outline this space as well. So that this space here is kind of your middle ground, and then your background is here. So I'm just gonna give that a black outline. And then along this hill here, I'm gonna add a fence. So these are some of the fence posts. They don't have to be perfect. This might be a fence that's older and it's just not really standing up as well as it used to. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna put some of those lines that would sort of go across the fence line. And I'm drawing them kind of light to keep them semi-straight. That hill might be covering them, and then I'm gonna go back and darken it just a little bit so that when I do paint it with the water, it'll show up a little bit more. So this can be a little more freehand. It doesn't have to be perfect. None of this does. So there's my fence line. And then I might put some grass, just so some thin lines along that hill line there. So making sure you're kind of using the tip of your pointy part of your pencil. So if it gets kind of dull, I just turn it. And you can do some along that edge there to add some grass. And then next we're gonna do the tree. So I'm gonna put my tree mostly here. You can decide where you want it. And then I'm just gonna draw a line straight up. And I'm actually gonna go off the page with it. So that's sort of the center trunk. And then you wanna go ahead and start working on those branches that might come off. And again, they don't typically line up. So I'm just gonna do this side here, and I'm gonna make sure I don't line up with this horizon line because that'll look kind of strange. So I'm gonna just get some of those in on both sides. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm actually going to thicken the left, and then I'm gonna come down here and thicken the right then the left. Then I'm gonna come along the bottom and finish off the bottom shape of that tree. And then I'm gonna come in and color this. So again, if you're doing Sharpie, you will just color it very similarly. I'm just gonna be activating this with water later because I want it to be a complete full watercolor painting. So when you want this part coloring in this part, you're going to want to go nice and dark so that when you do activate it, it's nice and black so that it has that silhouette look to it. So I'm going to finish coloring this. I'm also going to go in and thicken up those branches. So on these, I'm kind of going thick by the trunk, and then I'm going to go thin as I go to the end, and then I can color that shape in. That'll look more like a natural branch. So I'm going to finish doing those and I'll come back. Okay, so now once I have these completed, I'm going to add some more branches because this is a great beginning, but it is definitely not completed. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding some more branches off of these ones I've already done. And you can make them smaller as they go and grow. So then once you do a set, go ahead and thicken those up a bit. So wide at the bottom a little bit, and then skinnier as you go to the end of the branch. So these smaller branches may not get so thick, but it is nice to thicken them up just a little bit at the bottom where they touch that branch. So now this is starting to look a little bit more like a nice real tree here. And I'm going to keep working on this, and then I'll come back so you can see the finished.